Good morning. It's Monday, the 14th of April 2025. You're very welcome back to Real True Education, Not Fake News, broadcasting from rural Ireland by me, Val, a farmer with cows. The gift that people enjoy here is listening to a farmer with cows, because if you think of it, if you work in an office or you're a new politician or something, you have to go to a lot of trouble to get cows. It's not easy. So you can't really get cows or any significant number of them to build up your intellectual capacity, whereas I already have them. Do you understand the point? So I describe myself as a farmer with cows. Now, and I have cows. Now, the thing about it is, Bermingham is a dump, as Donald Trump might call it, a shithole. And in the who's to blame, it is not Sir Keir Starmer. It is not Rishi Sunak. It's the people of Bermingham who failed to see that the Labour Party and the Conservative Party had departed from its traditional base and turned rogue. And you went in and voted in sufficient numbers. Bermingham Council is mostly Labour. And they're tripping over each other with Labour. And the unions finances the Labour Party. And the unions are radical left. Extreme radical left. That Sigmund Khan in London, the mayor of London, is a typical example. If you can't get your heads around what radical woke left means, then you deserve what you get. The binmen went on strike 30 days ago. And the place is infested with rats. There's 500 tons, I believe, of rubbish on the street. Naturally, the rats will grow. I knew an old man one time who had barley on a loft and nobody knew the barley was there, and the rats got into it and they were as big as cats, and I was called in to shoot them with the shotgun. And you could kill 4 with the one shot if you got it right, and they were that size. And if they weren't shot dead, they were dangerous because they'd bite you. I had to pick them up with a 4-pronged fork, a grape. So the point is, that's the way it's gone in Bermingham. Now, the Labour Party's vote is stable in Bermingham and will not change. Look at my finger. Look at my mouth and my eyes. The Labour voter in Bermingham will not change. Get that through your thick skin. The Conservative voter will not change. There is people commenting here about Nigel Farage saying that he's some way turned rogue as well. I don't think that's the case. He might have had to make some certain practical decisions, and certainly any new party in Britain will have to tackle this desperate situation as you go along. It'll not be easy solving it. Now, Trump's idea is to gather up all the bad ones and dump them out. There's no way that'll happen in England. That's what Farage should do. That's what I would do. And if you want to hire me, if they have a new government, hire me on a part-time basis. I'll round most of them up and horse them out to Africa. And the ones that come from Southeast Asia and Africa will not be segregated. So the Asians will be humped off to Africa and the Africans will be humped off to Asia, and let them buck around there all they like. But that's only wishful thinking. But that's more or less what Trump is doing, and it shows you it can be done. Now, you see, you have a Prime Minister situation or a party leader in England where it's the elected minister or member of Parliament select the leader. And that rarely selects a good leader ever. It didn't select Churchill. Churchill was specially appointed by a national government. They didn't vote him in, and when the war was over, they voted him out. So this thing about voting, hoping to me granny get another couple of years out of her hip, is what they're going to do and what they're continuing going to do. I would have said that Reform UK is by far the best chance of any kind of a remedy of Britain's, unbelievable, serious, negative, bad, adverse situation. Okay, I'm stuck for words. It's so bad. It's mostly Muslims who hate the country. mostly Hindus and all these people, and I don't want to get caught up in the different sects of religion, because a man like me shouldn't have to bother what religion is anywhere. They shouldn't be in our country. That's the point. Now, I'm not against decent people coming in, but I always tell you, Asi Bibi, a Catholic lady in Pakistan, was refused entry into the UK and into Ireland because Theresa May said if we let in a Catholic, she was sentenced to be hanged. She was 6 years on death row. It would offend Muslims. That should have been the signal to stop voting for the Tories. What did they do with Liz Truss? Can you not see that the voting will work provided the voter gets determined, gets dug in and says we're not changing? And that's what happened in America. They prosecuted him, warfare, they tried to kill him twice, and they're going to try and kill him again. Mark my words, there'll be an attempt on his life before this year is out. And they tried everything, searching his home, searching his wife's belongings. And the reason why Trump is still bullying on, and people say he's a bully, if he wasn't a bully, they'd have broke him. It's precisely because he was like me, not as smart as me, but a bully that will push on and take no nonsense or no bullshit, that he survived the attack on him. He's unique in that area. So in England, you'll have nobody like that. Now, Farage was the nearest thing and is very friendly with Trump, and I would have thought he would be the best thing. But they're not going to vote. Now, I want to tell you in Bermingham, the ladies, I'm a traditional Labour voter. You're an old bitch of an idiot. That's all you are. A stupid, doddering idiot. And the man, we were voters. I like my couple of pints on Friday. Don't like what's happening. We always voted Labour, without any analysis. You're an old idiot. You're an idiot too. And you know what'll happen to you? The rats will eat the toes off you. You'll be in bed at night and the rats will come in and they'll be nibbling at you that size. Starmer has banished private ownership of guns in England to such a degree that it's almost impossible to get a licence for any type of a firearm. And if the rats are running round, you could pick them off with a good 2.2 rifle or an ordinary .22 long rifle. I wouldn't suggest a high-powered rifle or a shotgun, or a good air gun would kill them. A good air rifle, a 22 of a proper design, would kill them. But he won't let them get a licence. And the rats running round. Now there's talk of the British Army shooting the rats. Starmer's latest move is to bring in the British Army. So I'm warning about our joining armies in the modern world. You won't be fighting Russia. You don't want to fight Russia anyway. No, you probably don't. Who do you want to fight? Probably we'll end up fighting the Germans or the Chinese if it goes on the way it's going. Or what you're more likely to do is be collecting the dustbins in Bermingham. And the rats running out through your feet. You'll be collecting the dustbins. They'll make a dustman out of you. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a council hat. He lives in a council flat. I'll do it again. Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman's hat. He wears blimey trousers and he lives in a council flat. He's always on the dole. Loddy-doddy. Do you remember that? Oh, my old man's a dustman. He wears a dustman hat. Now we'll try and change it. Oh, my son's in the army. He wears a dustman's hat. He's collecting bins in Bermingham and he doesn't know what he's at. That's what you did. You dirty idiots in Bermingham, voting for them left-wing rascals. That's what you did. Talk about it. It affects us here in Ireland because there's a very close relationship between Ireland and Britain. A very close relationship. People go over and back all the time. That's back 3,000 years. St. Patrick wrote in his manual himself when he escaped from the slavery minding sheep on the mountain up in County Antrim. He ran the whole way down. Now, I don't know if that's true. I'd say he didn't go to Wexford. I'd say he got to Greenore. But there was a boat there with pigs and he jumped on it. And he got it over back home to Wales. So that'll tell you, that's almost 3,000 years ago. Sorry, I miscalculated. 2,000 years. Around 400. Around 400. So there you are. There was always that connection. And if you turn Britain into a foreign Muslim, Hindu, radical left mix up, and they're all in the one haven, you're going to affect us here in Ireland. They're going to come here. Now, this is why Sinn Féin is so wrong. Then I have analysed Northern Unionists in Northern Ireland, as we call them, the Unionists, and people say it's not Northern Ireland, it's the North. I don't care what you call it. Would you believe it if you took 5,000 Northern Unionists, strong Unionists, marching on the 12th, banging the drum? Half of them are politically aligned to British British mainland. They're politically aligned. So if they were in Britain, they'd vote Labour, half of them. Half of them would vote Tory. And you might get now about 6% of them voting Reform UK. Now, so people will come on and say, oh, Reform's not perfect. It's any port in a storm. But they think they're going to be voted for. We thought the Irish Freedom Party and the National Party, with the desperate situation of Ireland, might get some support, and we got a little, and we're thankful. Well, we didn't get enough. The Irish people stuck with Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Now, this is about Sinn Féin, the so-called Irish National Party. If Sinn Féin was in the right way of going it, they'd have the government in Dublin under pressure to stop the migration, to build up a decent republic here. And if we had a decent republic in the 26 counties of Ireland, and we were running it fairly right, and things going well, and doing the best we can, and a decent place, then we would have, of course, most of the Catholics and the nationalists in the north would probably either vote for United Ireland or maybe vote. Some of them would be on the fence. Some of them would definitely vote against it. A lot of Catholic people or nationalists in the North tradition will not vote to come in here. Certainly the way it is now. But if it was the way I'm saying, you might get 85% of nationalists to agree in the right circumstances. And you could get 30 to 40% of unionists to agree to a United Ireland, bringing the whole lot maybe to 56 or 7%. Now, I would like to see a vote of 60% at least, or even more. But you could get a vote of 60% if the south of Ireland showed that it was worthy of the whole people of Northern Ireland coming in, and if they had the guarantees and the decency. But we down the south vote for Fianna Fáil, a tramps party, that's all it was from Haughey. They had George Colley, a decent man, and they put him out and put in a tramp, Charlie Haughey. And who have we? Simon Harris, and that old Enda Kenny, another old Egypt. And we vote for these. And we voted for them the last time, giving them all but two. They were just too short of a majority. And when the independents got in, and 7 of the independents voted with the government to continue it. So even if the ones that don't vote for Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, and I think Verona Murphy is one of them, the Healy Rays are one, and so is Lowry and a few more. They're still for the mass migration. They're still for this LGBTQ, men and women sports, and all of the things that are totally alien to what Ireland always stood for. They want the churches out. They want the Christian churches kicked out. They don't mind the other ones. So that's what we would have to offer in Ireland. Because the people of Bermingham, there's decent people whom I know from around Bermingham, around Manchester, around the Black Country there, which is a great manufacturing place. And they are over here. And they tell me that even when there's a funeral or a wedding, they hate going back. It's a kip. Birmingham is a dirty, rotten, smelly shithole. And you people in Britain want it that way. There's something wrong with the British. Why were they plundering everywhere the way they did? And hanging Irish lads in Kilmainham jail and shooting Pearse and a few people. Why didn't they just jail them up for a few months? No, they thought they owned the whole thing. They thought they were going to be in power forever. And now their own country's destroyed. I often say, is there a curse on them? Is there a curse? A mile from here, They cut the rafters of people's houses to make sure they couldn't go back in. Poor people that couldn't pay the rent. And that happened all over the country. Is there a curse on them? I don't know. But the bottom line is, I'm predicting the British voter will not stop voting Labour. 36% of them voted for that idiot Starmer. And that Rayner one. 34, it's around 33, 4, 5. Right. They voted for them. If they didn't, they wouldn't be there. And they had the Tories as a poor second, but they were better than them rascals. Tramps, that's all they are. They want to put boots on the ground to fight the Russians in Ukraine, and they can't stop the migrants coming in on the cliffs of Dover. Comedy is gone off the television because it's not alone would they not allow it to be shown because it's not politically correct. But what's happening in real life, like Yes Minister and Dad's Army and all that, what's happening in real life is worse than anything a comedy writer could make up about Britain. Fawlty Towers would no longer be shown as Fawlty Towers. It'd be full of migrants looking for the dole, skirts on them, cigarettes and fast cars and a bit of dope, and looking to see can they get young native British ones for sex. There's 1,400 groomed for sex and rape, and Keir Starmer will not allow the money to be spent on an inquiry into it, because it'll damage him. But nothing that inquiry would ever find will change the stupid British peasant voter. And he's a peasant in his mind. And I have some great friends over there. I go over to model engineering exhibitions, and it'll do you good to mix with them about how to braze and how to silver solder and how to do drilling and reaming and build steam engines and everything. And their knowledge of it is great, but they're the minority. It still doesn't matter. When they go into the polling booth, they're going to vote for Conservative. And Conservative is Labour. It's a uni-party state. Isn't that a sad situation? Isn't that just a sad situation? And look at London with Sigmund Khan, or whatever you call him. He got elected. It wasn't rigged. He got elected. Sorry for drinking. That's the situation. The rats, they talk to you on the street. Poor little children growing up with that. They'll be into the houses to you soon, folks. And the British Army is going to be deployed to try to clean up the mess. Starmer says they won't be emptying bins. So what are they going to do? Are they going to sit in offices? Or they're going to provide help? Here in our town, and in one or two other towns, women, and some of them very settled and happy in their lives and good lives, very productive, some of them doing very well, some of them probably rich, come out on the street on an Easter Monday or anytime after any festivities, and sometimes after the weekend, and they go around and they collect any debris from the street. And the result is that when all the go-bys and the lads out for a good time see that, they bring their litter home. They just see the women doing it. And that example of that sacrifice made, and that they're not ashamed to go out and pick up the litter, is such a poignant thing. You can feel it I see them. You'd be afraid and I opened the door of the car on a windy day. I'm afraid of my life something will blow out, because you wouldn't want to respond to such acts of goodwill and good action and community spirit in a way that would be harmful to it. You want to promote it. The result is our street here is spotless. You wouldn't find a cigarette butt on it. And Birmingham is the exact opposite. Birmingham. Wasn't that the home of BSA? I think it was, British Standard Arms or Birmingham Standard Arms. So much. It had a huge sporting gun manufacturing base that manufactures some of the finest guns, shotguns, in the world. They were the finest and decorated and embellished. And that's the same with clocks and all of that. What a lovely tradition they had. And they're replaced it with these Lutheramans coming over looking for handy dole. Well, folks, you get what you vote for. And you voted for Labour and the Tories, and I can say to you, you don't have an option only to vote for Reform UK. But they will not vote for Reform UK. You mark my words. Reform will do better what they get the last of 5 seats. Might get 35 this time. Not worth a damn. Why doesn't the 600 politicians in the House of Commons, and what's in the other place, the Lords, the 300, must be about nearly 1,000 between the Lords and the Commons. Why don't they go up and clean it up? They get up and clean it. Oh, my noble lord. Go out and clean up the dustbin, you dirty old Egypt, because your Labour peers are as bad. And as for the unions, I'll do a separate programme. They are not the people's friend. They are not the people's friend. In any walk of life, in Ireland or England. They drove the industry out. Every time there'd be any little profit in a company, they went on strike. They had a car called the All Agro. The Austin All Agro. Heaps of junk. So that's the story. Comment underneath there on 21 minutes. Birmingham's finished. Britain's finished. But how do we save our own country, Ireland? How do we? I don't know. Bye. We'll see you back soon. And I mentioned the media, of course. No mention of this on the media at all. Oh, this never happened. Oh, put on the telly. Oh, she's cooking a lovely souffle. And oh, coriander and all this old stuff. And outside the door, the rats are walking away with the place. How are they going to have public food outlets? How are you going to keep rats out of a restaurant? They're closing them up here because of rats and mice. They're everywhere. We'll see you back, folks, soon. Comment underneath. I don't apologise to anyone. What I say, I don't give 2 damns about you. You're a crowd of stupid idiots in Birmingham. You had your chance to put the foot down on the rest of the UK. You keep your Labour. You get up there and let's put a wall around that country. And if a few decent Brits want to come over here, we always go on well with them. We can't take them all. Good luck. We'll see you back. Thank you.